This week on the Myron Gaines Show, March break where? Students in Ontario, you're gonna have to wait a little bit longer to get a break from the books. Also, mental health is affecting our frontline healthcare workers, and are we doing enough to support them? Plus, imagine a company telling their employees, just go dance to a reggae song to mark Black History Month. That's the reality. We're gonna talk about it. Also, in Your Voice, we speak with some people who beat the odds and were able to find love during this pandemic. And in Open and Honest, a controversial dating coach and his advice has people divided. All right, sit back, relax. The Myron Gaines Show starts right now. Hey BG Squad, so much love to you on a day like today. We're sending you all the love, even if you don't have no lover, we are your lover. And you know what we love when you do? Tap that notification bell, subscribe right now, and don't forget to follow us on our socials. All right, you know what time it is. It's time for News You Can Use. Oh gosh, we got a lot to talk about, especially the big story. And the big question for you is, should March break be delayed? And I'm really talking to students, parents, and even teachers. Chime in, because I know a lot of you were hoping for a little bit of a break, but it's not gonna happen. Sorry to say, it's officially been delayed. And in fact, you can hear it straight from the mouth of Ontario's Education Minister, Stephen Lecce. Listen to this.
Ontario is postponing March break until the week of April 12th.
Yeah, so this decision to delay March break till April 12th, the week of April 12th, it's gonna affect approximately 2 million teachers and staff and students right across Ontario. And you're probably wondering, why did they make this decision? Well, Lecce says that he made the decision after getting certain advice from Ontario's public health officials. And basically, they wanted to avoid the type of spike in new cases that we witnessed over the Christmas holidays. But know that not everybody agrees with this. And one person that I'm talking about is Sam Hammond. He's the head of the union that represents elementary school teachers. He's basically really upset with this decision, and he went on to say this. Look at your screen. In a tweet, he said they actually ignored the unanimous advice of every key education stakeholder in the province. So one of the big reasons why Sam is mad, that kind of rhymes, is because he says teachers and students, they're exhausted. They're exhausted with everything that has been happening, all the switch ups from virtual schooling back to in-person learning. In fact, one teacher even said this to a media outlet, that they're hanging on by a thread. Watch.
I'm absolutely exhausted. I was running on adrenaline for the first 2 months of this year, and then hit a wall sometime back in November, and I've been running on fumes ever since.
And you know what? It's not just students and teachers that are exhausted, but it's also parents too. And I'm gonna be quite honest with you. We've been getting a lot of messages, a lot of emails right here to our show from parents saying that they're feeling it. You know, they've had to take on an extra load in terms of not just being parents, but also being teachers to their own kids at the same time. So they were really eagerly wanting a break. But I also want to say this, and I don't want to step into too much mess here, but when the education minister was asked if the March recess for the provincial legislature, because just in case you didn't know, our provincial, members of parliament, they get a March break too. When he was asked if that was going to be postponed, he couldn't answer the question directly. So BG Squad, I want to hear what you think about this. Should March break be delayed? Let us know right now in the comment section. Hey, did you know? So starting February 22nd, all people entering this country will now have to quarantine in government-mandated hotel rooms for at least 3 days. And this is something that we talked about in previous episodes, but now we have an official date. So if you know anybody who's abroad, and any of our viewers watching abroad, because we know we are worldwide, baby! Get home, come home, and make sure you have some money, because that tab to stay in those hotel rooms could run you up to $2,000. Know this though, there are some exemptions for like healthcare workers and truck drivers that have to cross the border, but if you're one of those people that made the decision to travel, well, you're probably gonna be out of luck. All right, let's switch up here, because we do have to talk about another big story. And we have to ask ourselves, are we supporting our frontline healthcare workers enough? And many of you commented on our Your Voice from last week, where we talked with frontline healthcare workers. They opened up to us. They shared with us what they're dealing with on the front line. And it was a moving piece. But here's the thing. We wanted to dive a bit deeper into this subject. And one of the reasons why we are doing this is because it's rough out there for frontline healthcare workers. So rough, in fact, that the Canadian Medical Health Association is suggesting that the psychological effects of this pandemic could be felt for years to come. Look at your screen right now, because according to the president of the CMA, they say this: psychological trauma is a very real concern. Some people may even experience PTSD. And in some cases, the situation has gotten even worse.
Brandon, it was crazy to watch that episode last week and hear from those people. It's traumatic, and we don't really see that. Like, it's the first time I've heard stories like that.
Yeah, and it really did move a lot of people because it gave us, an inside look into the realities that people have to deal with day in, day out. And some of those realities, it's taking a heavy mental toll to the effect of suicide. Wow. Last month, a 25-year-old nurse by the name of Stephanie Van Nieuwen, she died by suicide after working at Humber River Hospital for just over a few months. And we're told that Van Nieuwen was dealing with depression. In fact, look at your screen here, because in Canada, some 30 healthcare workers have died since the pandemic began. And of course, what our frontline healthcare workers are dealing with every day they go in, and the deaths day in, day out, is mental trauma. And that's exactly what we heard in last week's Your Voice. Take a listen.
We've seen a lot of elderly people pass. We see a lot of staff fatigued, a lot of staff acquiring the illness. It's just a downward spiral.
So BG Squad, we want to ask you, how can we support our frontline healthcare workers even more? What can the government be doing? Let us know your thoughts right now in the comment section. And if you're a frontline healthcare worker, let us know how you feel as well. All right, so we all know we're in the midst of Black History Month, so give me one of these. Come on, give me one of these. It don't matter who you are. Put them up. And we know a lot of people and companies, they're really trying to embrace Black History Month. And shout out to the ones that are doing a good job. Yeah. Shout out to the ones that are doing a good job. But listen, not everybody is doing a good job. Some people are failing. Some companies are failing. Like Durham Region, located just east of Toronto, just in case you don't live in the Southern Ontario region. They recently tasked their employees to do some really weird things and stuff to celebrate Black History Month. Look at this right now. I want to show you the assignment that the staff got, because part of the assignment included, are you ready for this?
No.
Okay, well, let's get ready, because we're gonna have to dive into it. Messy. we a messy show, right, birds? We're messy up in this, but I look good though, don't I?
You do.
No, I look good. I look
Clean.
Fresh, clean. Jack and Jones. Yes, right? Listen, let me tell you something. A good blazer makes a man feel confident, okay?
Okay, but let's get back to the message.
Okay, back to the message. No, I'm off topic here because I'm so distraught about this assignment. So part of the assignment included dance to a reggae song. No, this is what they asked their staff to do. Listen to this. Cook an African or Caribbean meal.
You're lying.
You ready for this one? Go have a conversation with a Black colleague.
Okay, I'm there.
Don't worry, you only have to do it once.
No. But I don't think I need to explain why this is offensive or problematic. But I can tell you this. The chair of Durham Region, of course, apologized. Listen to what he had to say.
The program has been stopped, and we will review this over the next couple of days, and we'll do everything we can to regain that trust with our community.
Okay, but the mess ups didn't stop there. That was Durham Region. Now let's talk about the TTC. And this one buns me, and I'll tell you why. Because they took one step forward. They did so well. They did so well that we actually are including them in our good news segment, which you're going to see in a few minutes at the end of the show. But then, just like with so many things, as soon as people take one step forward, they take 5 steps back. Why? Well, there is a supervisor with the Toronto Transit Commission who literally woke up one morning and decided violence and pettiness was their main motive. And in fact, the supervisor had the nerve to take down a Black History Month display that had been set up by a Black bus operator. So I want you to take a look at what the display looked like. you can see everybody smiling. You know, it's so nice to learn about history, because it's all of our history, right? But basically, the bus driver said this about the situation. Take a look at your screen. The dispute came out of a TTC supervisor suggesting the board used for the Black History Month showcase was for TTC operations information. I think we can all agree the situation is quite petty.
Definitely.
And a little bit disrespectful. To the point that even Mayor John Tory had to chime in and offer up an apology. But this is who I want to give the last word to, and that's the Black Transit Workers Association, and this is what they had to say. Look at this. We will not be deterred and will continue to celebrate Black History Month 2021 with a goal to encourage people to unwrap the past for a positive path to the future. So I think that deserves a round of applause for this reason and this reason only. Because when they go low, we go where?
High, baby. We go high.
Hi. And that's that. Okay, so we received this video from a viewer that we just had to share. Shout out to our viewers, by the way, for sending in videos. And listen, yeah, keep them coming, exactly. Keep them coming, and keep those likes and subscribes coming, eh? Numbers, baby. So basically, I'm just gonna come out and say this week's Doing Too Much moment isn't about a person, but a machine. So take a look at your screen right now. So this man, he was at a gas station in Markham. Shout out to Markham, filling up his tank, because as you know, nobody wants to run out of gas on the side of the road. But after he was done filling up his tank, he noticed something. Look a little bit closer at the price tag. Still going up, and the man's not pumping gas. No, the machine is rude, eh? No manners. Like financial hardship's not real. Pandemic problems not real. So you know what? Hey, gas machine, pump machine, whatever you call that thing. Listen. Excuse me. You're doing too much. Stay out of my wallet, eh? Listen, if you got any great videos, okay, make sure to send them in, or any stories, news@brandongonezshow.com. All right, that's your news you can use for the week. Hey, BG Squad. On this week's Your Voice, we wanted to talk about love. No doubt, this year has been one for the books and changed the way we love and just connect with one another. So let's find out what love is like, pandemic style. We're in the midst of a pandemic. What was that like for you in terms of your dating life?
Well, you know, your social life just disappears with lockdown. So I got a little bit lonely, and you know, what happens then is you sort of start reaching out to people you might have connected with in the past. And that's what led my boyfriend and I together. It was one drunk text.
We met, I quite literally think, like the weekend right before everything shut down. So we met at a bar, and it's been interesting because that was like the only time we've been able to like go out in public, not have masks.
Well, I'm lucky that I had some people sort of in like my arsenal from before, but in terms of meeting new people, it was almost impossible.
How has this pandemic affected your relationship with your wife?
At the beginning of it, from I would say June to August, we were having a terrible time. We weren't communicating properly. We were short with one another.
Do you feel like things intensified more because of all the restrictions that came into place?
When you're focused in on someone for so long, you're really given the chance to just like learn so much more about them than if you're living your life and you meet up maybe twice a week for the first couple months or whatever.
Put our relationship in a pressure cooker and sort of fast-tracked it, and it grew into something really beautiful.
I got to really know him, and I got to know whether it was gonna work or it wasn't.
We were seeing each other for a little bit in the past, and we didn't have the opportunity to really get to know each other on this deep level, and I think the pandemic forced us to do that, and it was really worth it for us.
You know, we've been talking with so many young people who were fortunate to find love during this time. You've been in the love game now for 2 odd decades. What advice would you have for them?
If you're going to invest in a relationship, be patient with one another. Understand that what you've already developed, you're not going to find that somewhere else.
Since you guys found each other during quarantine, like, at which point did you realize that this wasn't a quarantine?
Well, you know what? There's just little things that somebody does that when you realize they're more serious about you. For example, I'm a vegetarian, and I remember one time I went to his house and I saw he had stocked his cabinet full of vegetarian foods, vegetarian patties, and I realized, you know, he's accommodating for me, not as if I'm just a hookup coming by. And that's when I kind of realized this is building into something more than just a quarantine.
Do you also think that there could have been more pressure to stay or be with this person because of all the rules about not being allowed to meet other people?
Yeah, he always tells this story about how we first started hanging out, and I'd just come out of like a more long-term relationship before that. And we'd hung out a couple times and I felt myself like feeling the love. Yeah. And so I was like, no, like make it stop. And I told him, I was like, hey, I can't date you. And he was like, sure. And then we just stayed together. So I almost think that I put that idea on myself to be like, don't rush into anything. Like the world is so uncertain. But I found like the one certain thing in it, which was him and my relationship, and it's worked.
As soon as you invest in a relationship, you're not going to find much better than what you already have. So try to maintain it and keep it.
Would you say that this pandemic for you and for your love life has been a blessing?
Absolutely. I didn't just find like the one person that I want to spend all my time with, my partner and everything, but I also found a best friend.
We have become stronger. We realize that we can learn to live with one another. Mm-hmm. We learn that we have to make compromises though. And again, I think that all stems back to communication.
He's very smart. He teaches me a lot.
And he's so cute. He's so cute.
You're gonna say that twice.
She's a loving, caring woman, and she knows how to be a good mother.
Honestly, I check my horoscope all the time. I'm one of those astrology girls, and they said 2020 was the year of love for me. So when the lockdown came, I was like, that was a complete lie. But I guess not.
For all the people that found love during this time, remember, hold on to that. And for those still looking, trust me, your time is coming. Hey BG Squad, it's no secret, dating is tough, especially when you factor in a pandemic. And the reality is, some of us need a little help. There's no shame in that. So this week, we wanted to speak with a dating coach. His name is Myron Gaines, and he's used social media to really get his advice out there. But the reality is, some of it is kind of controversial, and it has some people divided. So let's get open and honest.
When a girl tells you, hey, let's rain check or reschedule, you simply respond, hey, that's cool, but I'm not really a fan of flaky girls. If we go out, you're going to pay for drinks or dinner or whatever plan you guys had. Because the reality is this. With women, when they give you undesirable behavior, you need to punish it immediately so she knows it's not acceptable. Because if you take her back and take her on a date, after she did some like that, she's gonna think it's okay. Don't reinforce bad behavior with positive treatment, okay?
So I kind of just want to dive into this.
Sure.
A lot of people have heard your dating advice. Not many people agree with it.
Yeah.
So I would love to know, where did you learn your dating advice from?
Well, my thing is this. I always tell the guys to put themselves first. We basically have a lot of guys that will happily kick themselves in the nuts to appease women. You know what I'm saying? And they'll make some pretty stupid sacrifices, to get girls. And my thing is, I always tell guys, put yourself first and date like women do. Because quite frankly, women put themselves first. It's just that when a man puts himself first, it's looked at as selfish or narcissistic or evil. As a matter of fact, the most attractive girls, what they'll never tell you is they have guys in certain positions and roles on their roster.
Myron, there's a lot to unpack there.
Yeah, I know.
And so I want to start off with the fact that you said guys who don't put themselves first are kind of looked at as less than. But what is wrong? I mean, what is wrong with putting a woman first? Because that really is the definition of being a gentleman.
Oh, that's an excellent question. Well, here's the problem. Chivalry is dead, my friend, and women killed it. And the thing is that I tell guys to adhere to new dating standards in today's day and age for the modern day, because the thing is this, feminism has come in, right? And what's happened is feminism has made women, it's made them equal, which is fine. I don't have a problem with feminism at all. But here's the problem. Women want the benefits of feminism, right? They want to be able to take all those benefits of, equality, egalitarian relationships, 50-50 partnerships, etc. All these things that sound really good on paper, but don't really work within the confinements of a relationship. Then they also want you to adhere to your traditional roles as a man. See the problem here? So they're basically telling you, hey, we're playing by a new set of rules. We're strong, independent women, but you still got to stick to it like it's 1950 and use those old traditional roles. And in general, Women want traditional men, but they don't want to be traditional women.
When we talk about feminism and the fight for equality, we're still not there, because there are still a lot of women, for example, in the workforce that don't get paid equal to men.
But a guy that's broke is looked at much differently than a woman that's broke.
I want to know, has this advice, your advice, worked for you personally?
Yeah, absolutely. I put myself first all the time when I'm dealing with girls. Like the thing is this, most guys struggle with women. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm talking, it's very tough, man. I mean, and we have the numbers to back it. Women find, 88% plus of men as unattractive on dating apps such as Tinder, right? We got the Pareto principle magnified, where we're talking about somewhere between 10 to 20% of the men are having sex with about 80 to 90% of the girls. Men don't have the same sexual access like women do. And on top of that, men must become. No one wants to admit this, but the reality is women get sexual attention just for existing. Men have to earn that ability to get that sexual attention. They have to become.
Were you ever taken advantage of by a woman?
Yeah. I mean, I think every guy has, yeah, absolutely. Every guy has a story where, they took a girl on a dinner date, they liked her and then she friend zoned him, or, this knowledge comes from experience.
So do you think that there could still be some hurt there?
Well, here's the thing. There is no hurt. It's you, and hurt is a typical shaming language that, SJWs and feminists use against me. Oh, are you hurt? Blah, blah, blah. No, not hurt, just wise now, because here's the thing. Life is a compilation of experiences, right? And if you learn from these experiences, good. If you don't, then you're just an idiot. I always say a smart man learns from his mistakes. A wise man learns from other people's mistakes. This is why when I tell guys, hey, if your girl cheats on you, it's a wrap, because for a woman to cheat on a guy and have sex, she had to go somewhere mentally to be able to do that. Men, it's just physical for us. A guy can still have sex with his wife, can have sex with another woman and love his wife the same, because for us, sex is physical.
You've gotten a lot of media attention regarding your dating advice, including from the ladies at The Real Daytime.
Don't you love how assertive he gave the advice, as if he was giving you like a breakdown on like, this is it, man. Right. I'm gonna get you some wives out there. I know my stuff. This is it.
No,
right
he looked hurt. I would love for him to be right here with us, because we would give him a piece of our minds.
What has all that attention been like for you?
Women like the people on The Real, and let's back this up a bit. So Jenny Mai, right? Jenny Mai made a comment earlier in 2020 where she mentioned that she was going to submit to her husband, Young Jeezy.
So I'm gonna say right here that I, Jeannie Mai, going into my marriage, I want to submit to my man. I'm gonna tell you from experience, if you dominate so much that you actually kind of take over in your own household, that you don't give him room to feel like a man, fill in the blank however you want, you strip him of being able to do what it is he does well, and it changes the dynamic of your
That's not true,
relationship
Jeannie.
in ways that
Jeannie,
you may not
that's
have
not
expected.
true. I don't know about that, Jeannie. I don't know about that.
I don't think that's true for everyone.
So we reacted to that before, right? So I'm not surprised that, since they would attack one of their own panel members for saying that she's going to submit to her husband, that they would get mad about my dating advice. And it comes back to what I've always said. What I said in the video was this: when a girl reschedules a date with you, you need to punish the bad behavior and make her pay for the first round of drinks on the second date. And the whole world went nuts for me saying that, because quite frankly, if you hold women accountable in today's day and age, you're looked at as a misogynist. And it's like, no. Last I checked, women wanted equality, correct? Okay.
But why does it have to be punished? Why can't it be a conversation? Why can't the language just and the advice be, have a conversation with this person that you went on a date with?
Well, I'm talking to men. So this advice is strictly for men. And the thing is that when I coach men, what I've noticed is that you have to have memorable quotes for them.
Would you agree that your advice really isn't that helpful for men who might be looking for love, like real, true love?
Well, here's the thing. A woman can't love you.
I asked that because based off of your experience, your own personal experience, you're not there yet.
Well, here's the thing. If I wanted to get into a relationship with any of these women, I would be able to easily do it. The thing I'm trying to say,
would they want to get in a relationship with you?
Well, here's the thing. When a woman respects you, Now you have the foundation for her to love you. The problem is that guys don't get respect from their women first.
Do you actually believe in love? Yes or no?
Respect's got to come first. That's just the unfortunate reality of how women love.
No, do you, Myron Gaines, believe in love?
I believe, like, I could love a woman, but I'm not going to be an idiot to say, oh, she loves me idealistically. You know, men and women love differently, and I'm totally cool with that.
I don't feel like I got a straight answer there, but Myron, I do want to thank you so much for coming on our show and for being open and honest. I know. A lot of you have a lot of opinions on that advice, and hey, we want to hear it, so drop it in the comment section. But I also want to say this, and Myron says that this advice isn't for everyone. It's geared towards people who are dating in today's modern world. All right? Okay, good. You know what also it's time for? Some good news. All right, so we made it to some good news, and we really do have a good story, and it really is about marking and celebrating Black History Month, and that's something that we love to showcase. In fact, the country's largest transit agency, the Toronto Transit Commission, is doing so in a way that is allowing everyone to see. Watch this. Nice. That was nice. And listen, we got even more goodness to share, eh? So if you follow us on our socials, which we tell you to do every week, you would have known about this prize package that we're giving away, the Hennessy prize package. Well, we have a winner. Can I get a drum roll, please? It is Stephen Burke from Ottawa, Ontario! Yes, from our nation's capital, because baby, we are national. Congratulations, Stephen. Hopefully you enjoyed that, and please drink responsibly. All right, that's enough for us here. You need to go hang out with your lover or your pillow, or listen, we might be your lover, and that is fine. But remember, if you have any stories you want to send in, you can. news@brandongodeshow.com, and don't forget, hit that subscribe button, tap that notification bell, and follow us on all of our social media. Hey, BG Squad, we love you for watching. We'll see you same place, same time next week.